Alright, we live. And we're gonna give it a little bit of time here just to see who's gonna come on here. Just making sure of some things, that's all. Let me make sure of some things. Where we at and everything. Okay. There we go. Alright. I'm just doing a few things, that's all. Few little things. We're waiting on a few people to get on here. And then we're going to get underway. Okay. All right. Get my cloud in here. All right, you guys. Welcome to Can't Be Quiet. I'm Edmund Johnson. And my co-host is Tracy Johnson.
Hello.
My beautiful wife.
Everybody doing tonight?
And we got a special little guest here. She just ain't got nothing else to do. That's Malaysia.
This is Malaysia. This is our guy, baby. Tell them hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. Wi-Fi. Here. We're taking back a little bit slow here, that's all. Just a little slow. And boom, there you go. You got it.
Hello again. I am Tracy. I am the co-host. Tonight our subject will be...
There you go. It will be, how is she supposed to follow you? When you don't know where you're going.
That's a good topic. And it's very interesting to me because once upon a time in my life, I dealt with this problem. So we're going to really get in here and dice this up a little bit tonight. How about that?
Let's see how many, who all we got on here so far. I can't really see anything yet. We starting off slow. Just give us a little time here. I want some more people to get on.
They're going to have to catch you on the replay. You're going to have to come on with it. He's waiting. Hey, Rubenel, how are you doing? Tonight we're going to be talking about...
How is she supposed to follow you when you don't know where you're going?
Share the video,
yes,
if you don't mind.
Share the video or start a watch party.
Okay.
Share this on your timeline, like it. And we're in several different places. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. And we also have our own website, which is can'tbequiet.com. And that's up there by y'all.
You to keep your legs covered. Since you want to put them up, you still got to cover them. Okay? Now you can put it back up because you have a skirt on.
The topic is, how can she follow you when you don't know where you're going? Now, That's we'd have to really back it up in order to say, and that's because a woman is only going to follow her husband. She's only supposed to follow her husband.
But
But
sometimes the husband think he know how to lead and he don't actually know how to lead. That's the thing. Just because they think it sounds good, it looks good, it don't mean it's always good. So sometimes they need a little help on how to lead. And sometimes a man hasn't been raised by another man to actually know how to lead his woman, rather known his family. Ed?
now, it ain't necessarily so true. Just because a man is not fully, I ain't gonna say fully, not as spiritual as his wife, and usually it's the woman who's more spiritual.
Not
The
all the
woman,
time.
the woman who is more godly, and that doesn't really matter at all who knows more or who knows more to say who's going to lead, as long as both people are going in the same direction.
But the Bible said that a man is the head. So if he the head, shouldn't he be leading?
He's the head and he shall lead. He's supposed to lead. He will lead.
But the question is, the thing what we talking about is how do a woman supposed to follow and the man don't know where he going? He might think he know where he going, but he don't know. He ain't even got no navigation on. He ain't called
As-
God.
As long as he thinks he knows where he's going, and their destination is the same,
No, that's not the thing.
then that is the route that you follow.
The topic is how do the woman supposed to follow? I'm gonna use myself. How do I supposed to follow when you don't know where you going?
You don't know if I don't know where I'm going if you ain't following. If you don't take a step towards the direction I am going in, you don't know if it's the right way or the wrong way.
Well, sometimes women do follow. Yes, honey. Sometimes women do follow they husbands, and in the process of following their husband, they think they know where they're going and they don't. And I say this because we could be in a car going somewhere, and I'm telling you, wasn't that your turn? And you telling me, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. This say this right here. And once we get up, give it to me, and let's have a seat. Once we get up there and you make that turn, so I can turn up here, you turn up here. Now we on the dead end, correct? Come on now.
That's
Can't be quiet.
That's in a car.
No, I'm using
that's
that.
in the car.
I'm using that for an example.
Okay. That example is not going to fly with this spiritually.
Okay, well, what I'm
It's
saying
not going to
is,
fly spiritually.
but sometimes
Spiritually, as long as the man is seeking God, willingly seeking God, as long as he's doing that, he's going in the right direction.
But what if he's not seeking God? What
Okay,
if he's
not
married,
all right,
and the
so,
wife's saved,
if
and he's still of the world?
If he is not, one, you can't blame that on the man.
Hey, Mika. Hey, Penny.
And you can't blame that on the man because you married him. And before you married him, you were supposed to examine him and make sure.
But what if we both wasn't saved? Now I'm saved.
Okay. Now you're stuck. So what you got is what you got. You followed him when you wasn't saved, and now that you're saved, he's still the leader. Therefore, you still must follow.
Oh, so what you telling me? Now let me say this.
That's what I'm telling
and
you.
This is what I'm saying. Let's go. Let's just go here. It was sometimes that you was leading me, and I knew you wasn't leading me in the right direction. I had to listen. So let me just say this here. I had to pray and ask God to help me in following you. Lord God, give me understanding and knowledge with this man. I feel like he leading me to hell, but I prayed to God and asked God to cover me in being an obedient, submissive wife.
Then if it's hell that we're going through, then you gotta still be by my side.
Now wait a minute.
You got to trust me. You got to know that I'm there to protect you. You got to go through whatever it is that I'm going through.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I got to go with Katrina. everything ain't spiritual. Some things is natural. Some things I'm just have to use common sense. Use common sense on. So, but it's all I know. I understand the spiritual term.
Then what you're saying is that you're going to divorce your husband.
What I'm saying is how you
because you don't want to follow him.
No, what I'm saying is the question is, let's realistically, there are young men out there that think they know where they're going. They honestly think they know where they're going. Because it was times that you knew. Let's be real.
I know.
It was times that you thought you knew where you was going, and you had to come back and say, "Baby, I don't think I should have done that." Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all I'm telling you.
But now,
so we got some people right here now that's in the wilderness in their marriage because they do everything they supposed to be doing. Everything they supposed to be doing as a wife, everything the husband say, they follow him. Now we at a dead end.
Now.
So where we go from here?
It is still the same. Everything you said so far leads right back to the same answer. You follow them into it, you need to follow them out of it.
Well, what
if you split and go two separate ways, then maybe you'll find your way out. But maybe he knew where he was going all along, he still got out. Or maybe he didn't. But you're not there to know if he did or didn't.
Well, my grandma say just plant the seed and make him think he know where he going.
So the thing is this. Once you marry,
Lord,
you're going to have to follow that man, whether he's leading you the right way or the wrong way. You've already married him. You've already followed him that far. So whatever you're in, you were in it together. You'd best get out of it together. If you believe that you are more holier than he is and more spiritually connected than he is, then pray yourselves out of it. I mean, as long as the prayer is answered, as long as you are going to the right place, the same place. If your destination is his destination, doesn't matter where you begin, only where you end. If you're both heading towards God, if you both have your eyes on God, you follow your husband, whether you think he's going the right way or not, whether he is leading you in prayer or not. Eventually, it will come around. Eventually, he'll get there. It doesn't matter who has the most knowledge.
So, what about the women that's been going through this for a while now? See, hold on. So that's your point of view from a man's point of view. Now, a woman see her point of view totally different. I'm following this man. He claimed he know where he going, and he don't. Now, what you trying to tell me is I supposed to follow him? So what you telling me if my rent finna be, I'm finna get evicted? Because I got the money to pay the rent, but he telling me we need to split this up and pay the car note and the rent. Well, I can call the car people and get a 10-day extension to the next time you get paid. But this rent, it got fees that come with it. People are in these situations.
Before they got into those situations, somebody should have saw ahead and saw that they were going in the direction before they got there.
Well, we probably didn't.
Okay.
So now we didn't.
Then again, you didn't end up there separately. You ended up there together. Therefore, to get out of it is to get out of it together.
Okay.
You both are in the hole. You're both about to get put out. Not one of you, both of you. You're both about to get put out. You both need to come up with a way out. You both.
But sometimes
that's how they go.
But sometimes, let me tell you this. See, it was not just be real. Sometimes it was times where we was in some mess. But of course, you're gonna say that was my fault.
And we both got out of it. Either way it go.
We did.
All right. We did not separate to get out of it, because separating only puts a bigger burden.
But what I'm saying is, the topic is if he don't know where he going. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. So was it sometimes
this was a topic that was out there. This was a topic that was out there, and we took it and we now have it out here for everybody. And it doesn't necessarily.
Y'all give
Penny has already been hidden.
Okay, let me.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you do not know that this man doesn't know where he's going. He may have a plan. He may have it seen. Now, where things is messed up at is that communication.
Right.
The lack of communication is the key to failure. They're not communicating, so neither one of them knows where they're going because she allowed him to get into it. If he put him there, she allowed him to put him there. So they saw the hole, they got in the hole together. They need to get out of the hole together. You can't get out of it separately.
Okay, so what if the man got us in the hole? What if the man got us in the hole? Now the man got us in the hole. How? What is the question in?
If the man got you there, then the man should have a way out of there.
What if he don't? I mean, like I'm
then
saying.
Then again, there's communication.
Okay.
That's where you sit down and you talk and you figure it out.
Okay.
Together.
So I got that. But what I'm saying is everybody, what I'm trying to get you to see, this is where, like tonight you being so spiritual, and usually it's me spiritual, and I'm just on some real stuff. I want to know, you sit here saying this, is what's going on in the churches today. That and even with us, there was times, me as a wife, I didn't feel like you was leading us correctly. So what I'm saying is, now,
okay.
a woman, hold on, let me finish my question. A woman is in a position, her husband's supposed to be the leader, he's supposed to be following her. I mean, she's supposed to be following him. So she has been following him. Now, the question is, how do I continue to follow him and he don't know where we're going? Now, and the thing is, that the woman is already 2 steps ahead. I'm already thinking this, and this. And sometimes a man could be so prideful, and in the process of being prideful, he missed that. So what I'm trying to get you to understand, okay. Let's get past, he just really don't know where he going.
Okay. Now, I got that. I got exactly what you're saying. But still, lack of communication is what has you there. Lack of communication is what put you there. If you were communicating, you wouldn't be 2 steps ahead. You'd already talked to him when you was 1 step ahead.
But that's the whole thing. Sometimes some men.
Okay, so we have.
Okay.
Questions and comments there that need to be addressed instead of you and I.
Well, I can't see them because that's the whole point.
Trying to get your attention,
here you go. Well, there you go. Read them out. Because you gave me some.
I've been trying to get your attention. You will give me your attention.
Wow.
Okay. Penny says, because, you're talking about the men, because they're made up in their mind that they're right until it's over and said and done.
Correct.
And that's right. I mean, that's usually right. A lot of times a man won't accept when he's wrong until it's all over, said and done, and they're in whatever position they're in. Then he'll say, hey, I messed up.
But why we gotta go get that far down in it? That was my question. But go to the next question.
But we're really talking about a spiritual walk. Now, a household or financial thing.
But hold on.
It's something totally different.
You can't deal with what I'm trying to tell you is you can't deal with the situation as a wife. When a wife is saying, one thing people don't really understand that it's easier for a wife to be submissive. It's easier for a wife to follow her husband. That's easy. As long as he's leading correctly. And so that's what I'm saying. It's times where you want to follow. But you can't follow because they don't know where they're going.
Okay. So you got 2 bulldogs, 2 stubborn heads, 2 hard heads. Because one, when the wife married the husband, she knew she had to forget everything that she knew, leave it to the side, and follow her husband. He now leaves. The financial decisions or any decisions that she was making alone was when she was in a single household. She made those single decisions
Correct.
upon her own. She was the boss, and there was no one else to answer to. But now that she has a husband, all of this. See, this is where when you find that potential husband, you done sat back, you done examined them. You done asked them everything that you need to ask them. The first thing, I got some
Scriptures. Come on.
I got some scriptures here, and I got some pointers, okay? The very first thing that you want to know when you meet this man, the first thing is where he's at spiritually. Is he saved? Is he ain't saved? I mean, if you're saved and he's not saved, you're not equally yoked.
But if he is saved,
Either he's going to sway you or you're going to sway him.
okay. So
That's number
can
one.
I ask something?
Go ahead.
Just because you saved don't mean you know how to lead. See, this go into a lot of
And
juicy points.
Just because you're not saved doesn't mean that you
Correct.
don't know how to lead.
That's right. That's
There
why-
are
okay.
many great leaders who are not saved. The thing is, this leadership here is where you're leading your family to. It doesn't really apply to anything else. It applies to you and your household, your family.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, where is this husband leading his family? Is he leading them to God? Does he have his eyes on God? Is this what he's doing? So again, he can't lead you to God if he don't know God. So you need to make sure that he knows God. That's number one before you marry him. So if you marry somebody who didn't know God, then that's your fault. Now the thing is with that is, it's not doomsday. You got to talk. You got to communicate. You have to win a soul. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Since you know God, you're supposed to witness to everybody. You need to introduce him to the God that you know. And then, once he gets that understanding of who that God is and who that God is that he's serving, and want to get closer to God and want to know God more, then he's able to lead his family in the same direction, in the right direction. It doesn't matter where you start. It only matters where you end up.
Correct.
So as long as you're both going in the same direction, you may have some pointers. You may be willing to climb a mountain, but she can't, or she's not willing to. So then you have to decide, hey, can they climb this mountain? Can they bear it, or can they not bear it? The man makes a decision whether or not they're going to do that or not going to do it. It doesn't matter. There isn't anything too hard for God. So, as long as you got God, then the path that this man has chosen is not something that you cannot accomplish. So,
Okay, so Zanitha, sometimes one is better than the other at different things. The most knowledge should lead the particular thing correct. I'll go with that. Because in times, okay, let's go with that. It was times where I have to somewhat lead.
Miss Reed, I do agree with you there.
What?
The one who has the soundest knowledge in a particular area should lead there. There's no way I should be teaching math and I ain't good at math. And there's no way that she should be teaching reading and she's nowhere good at reading. So, yeah, whoever has the best knowledge for a particular case, because, again, once you marry, you're one flesh. Two became one. So, communication again. You communicate. You should know your significant other's weaknesses and strengths. And if there's a weakness there and they're trying to hit that weakness and that's your strength, you need to step in. If you know your wife or your husband ain't good at handling bills, don't give them the money. Because Some people like to pay their bills in full because the money say they can do that. And some people like to just pay enough just to get by because they want to do a little bit of fun over here. And sooner or later they catch up with you. We all, maybe not we all, I done it, we done it. So I know the holes that it can get you in when you say, hey, I'm just gonna pay what it takes to keep this bill on. I ain't gonna pay the whole thing on. I'm gonna pay what this gonna keep it on, pay it. Pay
Right.
that. And I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna do this and that. I wanna go on this cruise, so I'm gonna use this money. Somewhere down the line, you should have looked ahead and said, if I use this money, will I be able to recoup it? You know? Or am I really living just paycheck to paycheck? Which nobody should be, but a lot of people are. And hey, you should be able to recoup whatever it is that you set off. So I like that from Miss Reed.
Okay.
Penny, but underneath it.
So the question is, let's ask this here for the women. Um, this man gonna be honest and say he don't know where he going. Would you confess that, baby, I'm lost. I don't know what to do at this point. Can you help me? That's where the problem comes in.
There men would do that. A lot of men will sit back and say, I don't know where I'm going. Let me stop and let me figure something out. Or if you know and say, hey, I've been down here, let me show you this way and that way, then okay. Because there's a lot that my wife knows about her area from where she's from. I got no problem with giving up the wheel because, hey, I'm not going to pretend I know where I'm going. I don't want to run out of gas nowhere that I don't know where I'm at.
Baby,
What?
that's the only time.
Most of the time, I'm a very good leader at where I'm leading.
But you gotta be, come on. You
Because
wasn't always a good
I've
leader.
been there.
So I got a question. Was you always a good leader?
I wasn't always a good leader.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
That's where growth comes in at. You have to
Okay.
grow. You don't want nobody's going to stand still. But again, like I say, you gotta examine who you're getting with. A lot of us don't do that. A lot of us see what we like, see what we want, and that's what we go for. And then down the line, you say, uh-oh, I didn't know that they was like that. Uh-oh, I didn't know that they would do that. Or that's what they, you find out things that you didn't know. You didn't wait long enough. And in not waiting long enough, you find things out. So there are secrets that everybody has. Eventually they come out. Eventually you'll figure them out or know them. So it's time. I always say you need to have a good old fashioned knockdown fuss and fight.
Not fight or argument. Come on. Come on now.
Arguing, and these days
Come on, Deacons.
arguing is fighting. You're not agreeing, you're fighting. Okay?
Disagreeing.
But not physical, not abuse. I'm saying you just so mad to where y'all know the man I'm talking about. That mad to where
When you start calling the dozens.
To where-
When you start calling the dozens.
yeah, something like that, or you already doing wrong anyhow. Because if you're shacking and you say get out, them is like words that somebody like, nope, I ain't going through that, so I ain't
Yes,
gonna get with them.
Lord.
So when you get there, when you have one of them good old fights to where that fight, that argument, whatever you want to call it, that disagreement can end the relationship, then you good. When you've had that and you can survive it and say, I'm gonna stay. Now when you decide that you're gonna stay, from that point right there, you should say, I know who this person can be. And do I want to deal with that? Then you need to start digging a little deeper because that has surfaced. You should know that there's something else there. You should be able to know in your heart who your significant other is. If they will or if they won't. Or if you think they might. You should know that. You should know if they got some ratchet in them. Period. So once you know them, fully know him, then that's when you make some decisions. But you got to know, hey, do you want to get closer to God? Do you want to know God? What's up with that? Do you intend on going to church, not going to church? Do you want one child, two children, 5 children, 10 children? You need to talk and communicate. You need to know what one likes and don't likes, what one will do without and what one won't do without. Or, anything that's there. They got a gambling habit. They got a drug habit. They got an addiction or something that you can't deal without or deal with. So this is where, like I say, you got to spend some time to get to know one another. You got to talk about the things that are important to you. If going to church is important to you, if God is important to you, they need to know. And you need to know how they feel about that. And then, I mean, wow, you can have somebody that's just sweet as they could be. They could be everything. But they ain't got no interest in God at all. So now, you got this man that won't beat you, won't hurt you, give you the world, love you to death, take care of you, won't let you do nothing. But, don't want you to do nothing in a bad way. He's everything that you want. But he don't believe nothing in God. Now that go a choice right there for you. That's a choice right there for you.
Sometimes you can get in situations or you marry somebody and they don't know how to lead. Let's go. Let me throw my 2 cents in here. You get with somebody that don't know how to lead. And the hardest thing is that it don't matter if he done messed up. Most time he don't admit that he messed up. You just end up in some hot mess. So for me, I had to learn how to pray for my husband to lead us. I had to pray that God covers us. Lord God, cover us because I'm doing what the Bible says that I'm supposed to be doing as a wife. So in the process of me doing what I'm supposed to do as a wife, Lord God, I need you to cover me. I need you to protect me. Protect my heart, my body, my soul, my finances, my children, my house. Because sometimes in the point of trying to communicate that a man can be so riled up and think that he actually know where he going, what he doing, and he can't see it. And sometimes you get to the point of knowing your spouse, sometimes you got to lay little seeds down. You can So hold on, I'm coming to the questions. So sometimes you have to lay some seeds down. So in the process, like I say, my grandmother used to lay the seeds down. Today is Friday. If I want to go to the movies on Sunday, I just tell Ed, I was like, Ed, did you hear about this movie? I heard it was a good movie. This is an example. This such and such, and it's got this many rates and or whatever. So this is Friday. So on Saturday, he said, baby, you heard about this movie? We having a whole conversation like I didn't even tell him anything about the movie. You heard about this movie? I heard somebody else saying something about this movie. You want to go see the movie on Sunday after church? That's how it goes. Sometimes when you see that he's not necessarily leading or doing the best thing, you have to know how to come to the man too. You have to know how to talk to the man. So that's when you just start like dropping little seeds here and there. And then once you start dropping the little seeds, he'll start picking them up. If you are in a situation and you know that you're not going in the right, you just start looking like, baby.
Okay. Penny agrees with you on all that.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we got Billy. I'm saying names because your name's on here, okay? I ain't trying to put nobody's name or business out there. As a matter of fact, I just want to say this. We had received a letter in, and we just want to lay down a little something before we do this here, because it happened, okay? So if you inbox us, or I ain't gonna say inbox, but go to can'tbequiet.com, and there's an area there where where it says contact us. You can leave a message or your story that you would like addressed on this platform, getting help from everybody who's watching it. and advice from everybody who's watching. You can do it there. Somebody has already done this, but on here right now today, Billy is on here and he said his wife doesn't, and
What do you say?
uh, and she won't follow God. So
Let me tell you this. True story. If you believe in God, you find you a church home. If you find you a church home, and I'm telling you true story, you go find you a church home, and your wife gonna follow. And if she's not who God has for you, He's going to remove her. And I'm not against. I'm not for divorce, but I'm just telling you the truth. If you start going to church and you get the thing about a man, let me go there first. God favors a man. So when you get married, the favor is already put on you. So if you start going to church, you start getting up on Sundays, you start getting up on Wednesday nights, going to church. Sooner or later, the whole house gonna follow. And if the house don't follow, in the first little rough, and you have faith and you believe that this is your wife, then she is your wife. That's who you chose. You chose. So in that case, you get up. You the head. You the leader. How you want her to go to church? How you want her to do all this? And again, that's not the direction you leading her in. If you get up and start going to church on Wednesday and Sundays, sooner or later, let me tell you a true story.
you ain't got that yet.
I'm gonna get there. So I was getting ready to go with my friends one night. And me and Edmund had a big old argument, and we was getting ready. I told him I wanted a divorce, flat out. I want a divorce.
I don't remember that.
We hung up the phone in each other's face. So I came home from work, and I took a shower and I laid down. One of my closest friends called me, and said, "Come on, won't you go to church with me?" So let me tell you this here. So I says, "You know what? I'm finna get up and put on my clothes." Ed say, "Where you going?" You say you going to church. He done called you on the phone and say he going to church. I'm going to church too.
And I went.
And he went. And when he got there, the Lord had a word exactly for him. The same argument that the things that we was arguing about, that man prophesied to my husband, and my husband knew that it was for him. It wasn't for nobody else. See, God protect him too. So that's what I'm saying. Get up and be a leader. Because in the process, what happened was that phone call was only for us to get there, to get the message to save our marriage. Because it was a spiritual thing on my beliefs and his beliefs. And then it all came to pass. So all I can say, you the man. Lead. You get up on Sunday, you go to church. Wednesday, you go to church. And if it's what it's supposed to be, she'll get up and she gonna want to know, I need to go see what he getting. If your ways start to change, she starts to see difference. She go to church. Well, you might need to start going to church with her.
And
what you need?
Then it says every man who marries a woman doesn't marry a wife, and every woman who marries a man doesn't marry a husband.
Oh, that's another topic. Another week. Wait a minute. That's another topic. We're gonna have to talk about that later. We ain't gonna. Oh Jesus.
So, and you know,
I'm on delay over here.
Everything that you're saying is true. It's true because, again, there is a courting session. There's a dating session. There's a time for you to date. And then the other thing is this. I just want to say this so everybody will know. It depends on your age. And not just your physical age, what I'm saying, your age in Christ. Where you're at in God. You can't expect an 18-year-old to be where a 60-year-old is at. And that's just because there are things that the young person has to do in order to get to where the older person is. Spiritually and any other kind of way. It's just a growth that you have to go through. And in one's defense, if you don't do there are a lot of things that if you don't do them, you won't have that experience, that knowledge to say, okay, I know about that. I mean, you can't really talk to somebody about a marriage unless you've been in one. I mean, sure, there are those who read the books and they going on statistics and everything, but until you've actually been through these things personally, until you've been through them, then you don't know what it's really like, and how it really makes a person feel, and the devastation that they go through. You don't know this unless you've actually been through it personally. So a person who hasn't been married can't really counsel a person who's been married and needs marriage counseling. You can't tell someone about abuse unless you've been abused. I mean, you witnessed it, you may have seen it, but you don't know the trauma that one has suffered. You don't know everything that they've gone through before you saw what you saw. So there are levels of everything, and there are people in place to address everything. It's a matter of finding them and putting people with people to get people where they need to be at. But younger people have to go through what they go through for the experience in order to know God and know. I mean, you can't sit back and say, I know my God's a healer. Why? How you know? Because Sally said so, or Jane said so, Bob, he said it. Oh, they sing about it all the time. Okay, but how do you know he's a healer? Just because they said so? Or you read it in the Bible? You don't know he's a healer until he's actually healed you. You don't know he's a deliverer until he's actually delivered you. It's got to be something that you went through personally, your encounter with God, that made you say, there is a God. I know, because could nothing else do this but God. Until you bump into those doors where you realize and know that there's a God other than somebody telling you, or there are signs, and I mean, the normal everyday signs, but hey,
Yeah,
they're for everybody.
yeah. Let me say this. Nehemiah says that marriage is a trial and error. The love covers the mistakes. Yes, look right here. That loves do cover your errors, because we've had our share. And um, let me say this. Sometimes we work out emotions, feelings, instead of just slowing down and actually thinking everything through. Um, and sometimes us as women, we can get so emotional and riled up in what we think a man should be doing, and he could honestly be leading in he could be leading in the right direction, but sometimes things are not moving fast enough, like we think they should be moving fast enough, or we see other ways that we think it could have been handled, and it could have been a little faster, but sometimes everything is not meant to happen fast as we expect. The first key in, if you're not married, let's say this, the first thing that you look for, so you won't have to, so to say, deal with these issues, is salvation statuses. And if you want to find that, it is in 2 Corinthians 6, chapter 6, verses 14 and 16. Um, we have to, first of all, like everybody didn't get married to somebody that was saved. But where do you go from there? Just in saying leading and all this other kind of stuff. You have to have faith. The first key in marriage is pray and cover one spouse. Um, it's not, and I tell people this all the time. We don't like each other every day. If you run across a married couple that say they like each other every day, run from them. Run. They living with masks on. They faces covered with masks. That is not the truth. Because sometimes we have disagreements and we don't want to deal with each other. I say it bluntly like that. But that don't mean you love no less, but today just ain't the day for us. Um, we have to continue to pray for each other, cover each other. And again, if you're a wife right now watching this, if it's now or if you're on the replay, if you think that your husband is not leading, you pray. You get on your knees and intercede for your husband, to pray for him. God, give him direction. God, give him an ear to listen, because God favors him, and I have faith and believe that God will bring him to the point that he's supposed to be at to lead his family.
Talk to him.
Yeah.
Communicate. If you don't talk, I mean, you have to communicate with your spouse in order to get a clear understanding. In order for you both to see everything, you're going to have to talk. You're going to have to communicate with one another so that she knows what you're thinking and seeing, and vice versa. And if you both know, you know the pros and the cons to everything dealing with your situation, your relationship, everything, then you know how to tackle it. And if you both got God and you're both heading in the same direction, then tackling your problem shouldn't be a major problem. You know what you have to do.
Yeah, we had to get to the point sometimes, like when me and Edmund are having things going on, I say, you need to pray about that. I'm pray about it, but you need to pray about it too. I ask him, don't I come back and ask you lately? Have you heard a word from him?
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't ready for that. Come on.
Usually, the things that she asks me to pray about, it doesn't really require prayer. And one may say, well, everything requires prayer. Not everything. Some things God had put you in position for. And you know where it's going to lead. You've already know the answer to that. So it ain't no sense in going there. So there are situations that, I'm praying, and if God speaks on it, then I have to obey it. I have to obey it because, well, I'm going to obey it anyway, because I know when God talks, then, hey, I got to move for that. And anytime I hear from someone that I just know that this can't be nobody but God, then hey, then I'm going to move on it. And it's because I examine everything. I examine every situation. I don't like being in bad situations. So I like to examine. I like to see if I can, if I can't. Mm-hmm. If it's a sacrifice I need to make, I need to pray. I need to pray because I ain't supposed to jump out there on that limb and it look like it's rotten. I ain't supposed to jump out there. Not on my own. Now, if God tell me to jump out there, then hey, jumping I am. But I'm going to pray on it. I ain't supposed to jump until I pray.
But it's important. It is important for a wife to pray for her husband. It's important for a wife.
For both to pray for both.
Right. Because if you don't pray for them, them little imps will start coming out on you.
In the end,
that's a joke, y'all.
In the end, in everything that's been said, women, ladies, wives, you must follow your husband. You don't have necessarily, I'm saying you have a choice. You always have a choice. You can do what it is that you choose to do. You can choose not to follow your husband, or you can do as God's words say, follow your husband. Let him lead and you follow him. If you want to live by God's word. Now, if you want to live by your word, then by all means do what you want to do.
And so that's when the covering of the prayer comes in at. Because...
So if you want to make sure that you're following the right person, examine him and pray for him. Pray for him and then talk to him. Because if you ain't talking to them, you're not going to know if they're coming around, if they're getting an understanding, or if they're just blocking God out altogether. I mean, there's no way that you can be married to somebody and you just, I may have overspoke there. Because somebody out there may have been through it and gone through it, to where you should be able to talk to the person that you love. The person that you married, you should be able to talk to them.
But hold on.
I said it should be.
That's another level of communication. Sometimes we have to start with small things. What you like to have for dinner today? how's the car riding, honey? Did you need me to go put gas in the car? You know, little bitty things. Some things that, you know, some men don't know that they just supposed to do. Fill up the car. Um, you know, because some people could be in their house, they fighting like cats and dogs. So that's why I say start with the small conversations. How's the weather? How's the weather, honey?
Lovely. It's always lovely.
Is it hot or cold?
It's cold.
It's cold.
But
But yeah.
in everything, I'm trying to get to everybody. Hey Chester, I'm trying to get to everybody that's on here, and I apologize if I'm missing something. But please share the video. It will be in YouTube also. Do me a major favor. Go there and
Oh yeah.
like it. like it. Even if you ain't like it.
So and next week please be on please. I asked all y'all to come back on because we gotta we just really didn't know how to come. We had 2 topics that was up for grab this week. We really didn't know how to come with the second topic because if you notice we have several topics. So it was how do you stay after your spouse has cheated?
Yep. That was a good one there. So
I mean, that's a topic that we just got to pray. Forgiveness is the key. So let me throw that out there. If you're on here tonight, forgiving, that's the key. You have to be willing to forgive.
And coming up in the month of February, we're going to give a person, we're going to treat someone to dinner and a movie. Doesn't matter where you're at. Like I say, you can go to
Hello.
can'tbequiet.com and leave your information in the box once I announce that you won. Now, how do you win? How do you play this game? I said you're going to get movie, you're going to get dinner for 2. All right. It's going to be gift cards, and we will mail them to you. Unless you're someone that's local or close around, then we'll try to get it to you that way. But more than likely, it's going to be mailed. Now, how do you get those cards? How do you win that for Valentine's Day? That's why I said the month of February. We're going to ask you, the person who shares and gets the most replies from their shares on their timeline. So, how we do that is somebody's going to say, I watched for Marie. Marie shared it on her timeline, said, hey, watch this video, and reply back, I watched it for Marie. And I'm going to count up all the Maries, and I'm going to count up all the Timpuses, and I'm going to count up all the Chesters, and I'm going to count up all the Pennies. And the person who has the most is going to win dinner and a movie on Can't Be Quiet.
Yes. Taraya said that actually communication is a 2-way street, and it is. But you have to remember that when you speak, remember that when you seek God first, He will provide the words to speak, and that is true. Because let me say this: the last 6 months has been very, very, very. Me and my husband, within the last 6 months, we've been with each other 24/7.
Yep.
Most of the time with each other, coming from 12 hours. You know, we think about the working world when we're doing our own thing. So yes, we had to get to the point to learn how to communicate for long periods of time. Long periods of time. I was waiting because I see a lot of people that's married on here to just basically go on the other topic. I just really didn't know, how to respond to that topic. Just for as forgiveness. And that's what we're going to go with. Forgiveness and the key. Yeah. They did stress that they love their wife and they know that their wife loved them. But it was a very hard time in a marriage, and in the process of it being a very hard time in a marriage, the wife, he was very clear that the wife stepped out, and he is seeking what to do because he loves his wife and he know that she loves him, but it was just a very trying time in their marriage. Um, so we have to figure out. The thing was that was a topic. All I had was forgiveness. If y'all got something to say positive, put it in the comment. Um, on what
On what they should do. Um, on what they should do when it comes down to somebody stepping out on the relationship. If somebody steps out and cheats, do you have what it takes to forgive them? Now I know um, ladies do it way more than men do. They somehow they just can forgive a man for cheating.
right.
But a man, now a real man gonna tell you like I'm gonna just tell you now. A man don't want nobody else getting under his. So it's hard. It's hard for him to forgive that wife. That is, you want to break a man, that's the way you break him right there. If he loves you with all his heart and the wife steps out, that is a very hard thing for a man to forgive, to look over, to push to the side, to say, I forgive you. That's hard. Um, Not saying that it ain't possible. It can be done. But that's because of their love, the love that he has for her. So
A man can love his wife just as much to forgive her and move forward and let it go. He said that when he didn't want to go through the point of keep bringing it up. But that's, like I said, y'all just put it in the comments. Uh, I'll put it in the comments. We know to keep God first. If you keep God first, then everything else should fall in line. And that's the key. God honors marriage. And I'm a true believer. If you praying over your marriage, that God will honor your prayers in your marriage in due time. He will lead you. He will guide you because he honors marriage. It's a little different situation. This is the tricky thing with me. That's what's going on, and me doing a lot of studying on this stuff. Is that we talk about certain things, and we talk about boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and sometimes we're praying for the boyfriend, but our bed is foul. And how can God fix something that's foul? He honors marriage, So it's one of those catchy things, but that's what we on here for. Read your comment. Your comment says, if my wife step out, I'm divorcing her.
who said that?
I did. Nelmaya Wilson. We got it.
So Nemo knows what I'm talking about. That hey, that's done, man. That's like that's a very devastating thing for a man.
And sometimes you gotta pray. If you keep on going through the same old thing, let me tell you this here. I pastor preach a message on cycles. I'm quite sure you can go to Katrina LaShawn and find that same message on cycles that he preached. Or you can go to the church website and you can find the message and the descriptions and the scriptures to go to when he was preaching on cycles. And if you keep on going through the same old cycle, if you keep on doing the same old thing, 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 then know one thing. You in a cycle. So the only people that keep on going in cycles is an insane person. So even though you're married, you still gotta love yourself first, and say enough is enough, and that's just what it is. So, that was very transparent. Just
Okay.
So that's what you gotta go to.
Again, like and share, like and share. Run over to
Yes.
YouTube.
Okay,
get on
here
there
go
and
the
share.
word. Tarai, y'all need to come sit with us one night. How about that? Are y'all
Yeah.
open for that? Are y'all open? Oh, let me say this. Say hi to the Henrys. The Henrys been married 22 years. 22 years.
Happy
Everybody
anniversary.
say happy anniversary to the Henrys. Um, Let me say this here. Yeah, we need y'all on here with us. While we hitting all this marriage stuff and all this other kind of stuff, because I can tell you this much: the Henrys know what they talking about, because they helped us.
Sure enough.
They helped us.
Yeah.
So let. I'm telling you, they know what they talking about. Very transparent, very realistic, and put it out there for you, and have the scriptures to knock you in your face with. And it is Chester and Tariah Henry. Again, they make 22 years on marriage, so everybody shout out and tell them happy anniversary on here. But again, we have to pray. And women, cover your men in prayer.
And husbands, cover your wives in prayer.
And then you'll get to the point to know that it will fall in line for them to lead. And patterns is correct. Because we trying to go somewhere. We're trying to touch people in their homes that probably don't know how to make their marriage work. This is what Ed, he's going to close us out, because I think we've been on here a while now.
An hour.
Yeah, so an hour is supposed to be our cutoff time. So he's going to tell y'all what our site is about, and then he's going to close us out.
Okay, so Can't Be Quiet is the name of the site.
Hi, Miss Sandra.
It's the name of our show, Can't Be Quiet. And you can find us on Facebook right here, Can't Be Quiet. Or you can go down to our website, which is can'tbequiet.com. Go there and go into the contact us. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Leave a message on a topic that you wants to address, or whatever you would like to talk about, or if you would like to be a guest. Now, there are two ways to be a guest. You can come here, or we can shoot you a link and you can be a guest while at your home using your own camera while at your home. So it'll be via satellite. So we can do this together, either together or together there and here. Okay, so Can't Be Quiet is a platform here to where we're going to talk about the things that people don't want to talk about. The things that make people mad to get their goat. And it's not to make them mad and everything, really. It's really to enlighten them, to help them, to give them a better understanding. That's things, like I said, eventually R. Kelly's coming up. We're going to hit him and all those like him. Chris Brown's in the same boat, so we're going to hit all of them. What people feel about that. And, what they think should be done about that. Preachers who are doing things wrong or saying things wrong. The whole thing is to clean up God's church. So we're talking about in the church and out the church. Things that need to be cleaned up. Things that we shouldn't look the other way on. The site Can't Be Quiet. So hey, when you see it, don't be quiet. I got a topic that I'm working on. I haven't talked to my wife yet. We got to talk about things, but it's going to be called Remember the Fire. And the reason I'm saying remember the fire is because anybody who came to Christ and decided they was going to sell out for God and say, hey, I'm all in for God. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to pray for this one. I'm going to preach to this one. I'm going to tell them about God. They had a fire. They had a quenching in them that they wanted to do right for God no matter what. If it was a wrong, they was going to try to right it. If it was a wrong, they was going to try to correct it. Where has that fire gone? That fire is gone. We're allowing those who are supposed to lead us to do something that they should not do. And we won't correct them. So, I'm looking for that fire. We need that fire built back. I'm trying to put on a whole suit of armor and jump out here. So, my wife don't like this because she think I'm really out to just cut them down. But I'm not. I really just want to remind you of who you serve. I want to remind you of what you are supposed to be doing and not doing. I want to remind you that somebody's watching you. His name's Edmund Johnson, but somebody else is too. I just want you to know somebody's watching you. And somebody is relying on you to do the right thing, to teach them, to lead them. You're going to have to answer for it sooner or later. So I'm just trying to help you to see that. And like I said, it's not nothing bad. It's just an enlightenment session. That's all. Just enlightenment. I just want you to realize who you serve, who you claim you serve. And that someday you got to answer to them. So, and like I say, it's not just for the church. It's for outside the church.
Oh, you got to read your scripture down.
It's for the things that we are seeing and looking the other way. If you're walking down the street and you see a grown man raping a child in the alley, are you going to keep on walking? Or are you going to turn down that alley and go handle some business or something? So, I can't be quiet. I got to say something.
Yeah.
So,
we got
y'all join us.
We got a couple more topics coming up, and we'll discuss them. We're going to go with... This is a lot of topics. We have something that hit us close to home, so we're going to discuss that.
What's that?
When we bring our kids up in church and they depart from what it is, that's another ouchie topic. But that's one of our own.
An ouchie.
Yeah. How to deal with it. You never know what it feels like until you actually go through it. Or start the process, so to say. So we'll be discussing that in coming up weeks, and we'll have all the topics together. Thank you guys for joining us, and remember, you don't have to be quiet.
Gotta say something.
Because you can't be quiet.
Hey, y'all share this. Please go to YouTube. It's going to be a little later, but go to YouTube. Like it. Help me get out there. There's a reason. We're trying to get on iTunes, which is coming up real soon. So we're a little bit everywhere. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. And just like them. If you don't like them anyhow. Help me out. I much appreciate it. And we're going to see y'all this time next week, 8:30 Friday night. 8:30 p.m. And
you didn't say your scriptures.
I will give you a topic later on. Oh, the scriptures. I'll be posting these scriptures next week on the site as we go. But like I said, you need to find out the man's salvational status. So that's 2 Corinthians 6. 2 Corinthians 6:14-15. And in marrying a man or choosing someone who's going to lead you, get your parents' permission, your parents' blessing, let them check them out. So your parents going to check them out, so you need to check them out. And you can find that in Proverbs 21:1 or Ephesians 6:1. Okay, now you want to make sure this man is hearing from God. So, hey, again, he's going to lead you, then he's got to be hearing from God. God has to be talking to him. Or he's on his way. So that's 1 Samuel 15:22. And you want to know all about his history, her history, whatever, so you want to know about the history as far as their marital status, how many times they've been married, how many children they got. You don't want no kind of drama coming up and haunting you. So that you can find that in Matthew 5:31-32, Matthew 19:1-2, Mark 10:11-12. And that's that on that, y'all. I'm sorry it took so long. And next time I'll have them posted. The scriptures will be there. They'll pop up here and there so you can write them down and go back and look at them. My name is Edmund Johnson.
I'm Tracy Johnson.
And we can't be quiet. We'll talk to y'all later. See y'all next week.
Be blessed.